Welcome to the Kawarthas Small Business Podcast, where we believe the Kawarthas can be the most thriving region in Canada for small business. I'm Brian Rump from Profit Coach.
And I'm Matt Garrity of Matty G Digital.
And before we get started, head over to kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca/checklist and download Matt and Brian's marketing checklist for Kawarthas small businesses. All right, we are live from the Thrive podcast studio in downtown Lindsay at Thrive Co-working Community. And this episode, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the Kawarthas this month. So for the next little while, we're going to reserve a podcast episode every week or once a month to just talk about things that are going on in the business community, new businesses, all kind of things that are public that we've noticed, and we thought we'd just shout them out. So where would you like to start, Matt?
Let's start what we did on the weekend.
Oh, yeah. We had a pretty good time on the weekend at the Electric City Football Club opener in Peterborough, which was just a really cool, I think, experience all around. We got tickets to sit in the supporters section, which we weren't quite sure what we were signing up to for. Turned out to be really awesome.
It was awesome. I think we had a lot of fun. It was wicked enjoyable. I cannot even begin to care less about soccer, but I thought what they did there in that stadium, I guess they call it the pitch, but the stadium was so beautiful, so well done. The branding that they've come up with the last probably little while is incredible. And just those two things alone, just the effort that they put into it and how it turned out, it's a really, really, really cool experience to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, I think it was just, shout out to the ownership group. I forget when they sort of announced it, and I don't know anything about soccer. It's like a pro or semi-pro league. I didn't even know it existed in Peterborough. So to get someone like me and you, soccer's not on my radar.
No.
Don't really understand, the leagues, or that there was even this league. Peterborough got a men's and a women's team in. They went from branding. You could see through their marketing and social media collecting sponsorships. We go there, we buy tickets to the home opener. So to get me, you, not really soccer fans, to be aware of what's going on, buy tickets to the home opener. There was all sorts of sponsor banners. Yeah. So, to be able to get the sponsors, the crowd and ticket sales broke a league record, which for the very first home opener game, I think it's really just cool in terms of growing the sport. It's also the power of marketing. Mm-hmm. So to be able to, create that brand, do marketing. I think they have an ownership group that has worked very hard behind the scenes, like getting sponsorship and raising awareness. Just a great job overall. And then the supporter section, there was a group of hardcores dressed up in the stuff. They had drums and flags and chants, and a few really funny fans who created such a great experience that, like, I'm looking at my calendar now being like, okay, how do we fit in more games to go to?
Yeah, shout out Superfan Dave from the supporter section on Saturday night. Yeah. I do think it's the power of marketing. Like you said, and I've said now, I don't care about soccer at all. I just kind of want to go for a good time. And they sucked me in with the branding, and they sucked me in with stuff on social media. Like, I wasn't even following any of that or like any of the other owners. And I kept seeing it, and I kept tickling my fancy, where I was like, there might be something interesting here. This might be worth checking out. And sure enough, I did. I didn't know what to expect, but they didn't hack it. They didn't Mickey Mouse it. Like, that stadium was so cool. It was an awesome place to be. It looked like a professional soccer game. And I don't want to speak ill. Like, I don't know, again, like what level that was. I wasn't expecting it to be so well done and so well put together. And like you, I spent most of the weekend thinking, like, asking my kids, like, do you want to go see a soccer game? And like, this is where we should go. And it was just so exciting. I think it was a great environment for kids and families and everything. It's just a good time.
Yeah, it was really awesome. My wife and I have tickets to the women's home opener on Saturday, which like I'm really excited about. I think my wife's extra excited after I sort of told her about it. And, for her, just as someone who grew up playing sports and not really having any opportunities to do high level, like organized stuff, to see just, a semi pro women's team in like fairly local is just awesome to see. So we're excited about that. And I think that's a great thing going on. I think it's the hot ticket for the summer. So buy your tickets.
Yeah, they did a good job of drumming up interest and getting people to show up, which is the hardest thing to do for a single event from a marketing perspective. They're challenged, but they're extremely intelligent ownership group, like some of them and all of them really. I don't think they'll have any issue with it, but like they're challenged, what they're going to have to continue to make sure they get like not those exact numbers. I don't know. Can they do that every single game? Probably not, but their challenge will be continuing that marketing and continuing to make it a place to be for the summer.
Yeah, I think, it's probably true. Although I think when you get people there, and if you could put on that kind of show every time, people will rebuy.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to rebuy for sure. So hopefully there's, 1,000 people like me who are like, oh yeah, I want to come back to this. Like I was trying it out because it looked cool, but now I'm coming just because it's awesome. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and shout out too is that the pitches at Fleming College. I thought they did a really good job with like just the whole event stuff, like where to park, just that organization. You kind of expect like annoying things for logistics when you go to a first time event like that. True. And really, I would say there was nothing that irritated me at all, which is rare for like big crowds and events. I don't love, chaos or, when they're like, well, why didn't they think this through? Like they did just an amazing job, I think.
I thought about that too. I thought like it was very smooth. The logistics were nice. I wonder if it was because of the size of the crowd. It was a large crowd for that league.
Yeah.
But if that was 10,000 people, of course that would be a different story. But for what they did and what they achieved something magnificent the other night, I think everyone should be applauded. So
yeah, the only I think hiccup was they ran out of pizza. Which I think is good because I know they were looking for food vendors, and I think food vendors are hesitant to go to events because it's a lot of work. You don't know how many people are going to be there. You don't know if they're going to buy food or not. Yeah. So I could see hesitating, but when you hear like, oh, Say Show came, ran out of pizza, then you think, well, maybe there's an opportunity there for more food vendors. So
what pizza was it again?
Say Showed, which is a offshoot of the Night Kitchen.
Okay.
So they have a mobile wood-fired pizza oven that they take to markets and events.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So
I wasn't very hungry, but I walked over there during the halftime to kind of like look at stuff. And I saw this like stupid long lineup for hot dogs, and no one was in line for the pizza. I'm like, well, I'm just going to buy pizza because there's no one in line, but they had already sold out, which was a shame because it looked wicked. It looked really good.
Yeah,
it was cool to have like good like artisan craft food there, from like a good vendor, and like the craft beer selection was really good too. Like you never know what you're going to get at an event. You're usually going to get some sort of nonsense or like commercially like popular stuff. They had like really good craft beer there. I was super happy about it. It was a good time.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Bob Cajun Brewery for their electric ale, I think, and their other, good beers as well that were available. So yeah, great time in Peterborough on Saturday and a great what's going on. So get your tickets. All right. What else is going on in the Kawarthas?
Am I going to have to talk about Thrive?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're live from the Thrive podcast studio, which is pretty cool. We've teased and talked a little bit about Thrive, but Thrive is your new business venture that is finally completely and fully open in downtown Lindsay.
Yeah. So the intention of Thrive is for businesses and entrepreneurs to come together in a place where they can focus with other engaged, enthusiastic business owners and entrepreneurs and hopefully grow their businesses. There's private offices, there's shared space, all that kind of stuff. But the biggest part of Thrive from the beginning has been the community part of it, and wanting to put together programs and events to get people in here again as a place to go to grow their business. So you and I hashed out some events last Friday, actually, some things that we talked about for months and now years at this point. But we're starting the Monday morning coffees starting May 16th, every single Monday at 8:30. Whether you are a business owner with an established business or a newer entrepreneur, come hang out 8:30 to 9, have a coffee with Brian and I. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, basically, business-wise, personal. We'll talk about soccer, very limited amount. But that'll be starting next Monday, May 16th.
Yeah, I think that I'm really looking forward to it. We sort of Thrive will be the home of the podcast. We've started this podcast during the pandemic. We didn't even see each other in person for a long time. I think the long-term vision is to use the podcast to have business conversations for business owners in the Kawarthas, to be able to bring that to a weekly coffee meeting. So, networking, if you're a business owner, come talk about stuff, that they won't be structured. But this is where innovation happens. It's where community grows. And again, Thrive, the big part is the community. So yes, it's a place to work, but it's not just about, here's 4 white walls and a door and a key and please make no noise. It's about the community. This is where entrepreneurs come to thrive. We believe the Kawarthas can be the most thriving region in Canada for small business. It's not just a thing we say that sounds cool. So the Monday morning coffees, I think, is the epicenter of that. We've had listeners reach out to us to help start businesses, grow businesses, recharge. That's going to be a way to do that, which is cool.
Yeah, and then bi-weekly starting Thursday, May 19th, we're going to be doing events in the evening, presentations starting with stop bleeding money on your marketing using ads, email, search engine, social media, and design to grow your business online. We've got that one coming up, like I said, starting Thursday, May 19th, and we'll continue those bi-weekly. Whether you want to come check that out as a business owner and entrepreneur to see what I have to say, or if you're actually interested in doing any sort of these presentations at Thrive as well, I'm happy to chat about that too.
Yeah, I think that's the goal we have between us, sort of the podcast. We're going to be going through some stuff with StoryBrand on marketing. We have a Marketing Made Simple presentation coming up, how to grow your small business. So we have, lots of talks that we're going to do and spearhead, but we also want it to be a forum for other business owners and people as well to be able to come and do a talk, bring people together. So that's, I think, a really, really exciting new addition to the community. Yeah. And, this month we have Thrive's open. So book your tour at thriveonkent.com. Is it .com?
Yeah.
I always forget which domain, thriveonkent.com. Book your tour. Come see the space. It's open. There's many paths to experiencing it. So it's not just, hey, come in and rent an office full time. You can come work here for a day. You can attend an event. You can host an event. There's lots of stuff going on, and we want it to be the epicenter for entrepreneurship and innovation and small businesses in the Kawarthas.
Yeah, we've got a yoga instructor coming in on Sunday, June 5th for an event that we're going to help kind of sponsor with a couple other businesses, where she's going to do yoga, and then it'll be like a networking event for women. Well, I will not be there. I will be mansplaining businesses to women.
Awesome.
But it'll be a networking event. And then we also, I can't say who yet specifically, but in June and July, we'll have a series of a new bit of a program called Thrive Storefront, where the business will be using Thrive as basically a pop-up on the weekends for a series of those throughout June and July, as well as utilizing the space for like vendor showcases as well. So like she'll be bringing in some other type of businesses as well as a way to like get herself out there more, create that storefront, get a taste of that because she's been doing everything from home right now and other pop-ups. So this will be a good experience for her to be able to grow that business and then bring some other vendors in as well.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. So, all right, other stuff going on in town. So we've got some new businesses that are sort of opening and changing. So a couple of those that we've heard of, Reveal Medispa, which I have never been there, but I see the signs and their marketing are moving to Cambridge Street. So they had two different places and spots in Lindsay. Those are getting combined in a big, awesome old house that got renovated, on Cambridge Street. So keep your eye open for that.
Yeah,
maybe we'll do a man spa day.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love. What's the hand one? That's a manicure.
Yeah,
I would like
a
that.
manicure.
A manicure.
It's definitely a thing. It's not anything that I've done, but I do know some guys who like work outdoors a lot.
Oh yeah,
or they're inside and outside, and they like go to the spa like on a regular basis to take care of their hands because they work with their hands.
I think it would be awesome. I think it's selfishly a shame that they're moving from downtown. Like it's a nice spot, a couple doors down from Thrive, of course.
Yeah,
they're a great business that gets a lot of traffic down here, but it makes too much sense. Two locations, and then moving up to like a nice home, like a Century Home on Cambridge. That's awesome. Good for them. I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. So that's something that's happening. Over in Peterborough, I see the what used to be the Sapphire Room is now called Jethro's Bar, which is a spot for music. And I have been very angry that I haven't been able to get there because they seem to have some really good artists playing there. Mm-hmm. It's a small venue. Friend of the show, Nathan Truax, and his partner have been singing there, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it looks like a pretty awesome spot to check out.
I've never been into Sapphire Room. What does it look like now, though? Is it like really different, or what have they done?
Yeah, it looks like it's been renovated and refreshed. It's sort of like a long, narrow building. There's stages near the front. I think on their social, they say how many it seats. So it's like 50 people. So it's not a large venue, but I think it's going to be the spot for like artists to go and play. So to me, it's going to be, a place to go to see some, great music and artists and people working on their craft.
Yeah. So I was wondering what it looked like aesthetically, and I was going to guess, like, is it like a dive bar on purpose? Oh no, this is very nice. Have you seen the actual look of it?
I think, yeah, I have seen it.
I'm not smart enough to be able to articulate like what design style this is, but it's quite beautiful. It's very nicely done. It's somewhere you would want to go and spend a lot of time hanging out with other cool people.
Yeah, this is why I'm angry that I don't live right in Peterborough and that I haven't been there yet. It's only been open, I think, a couple of weeks now. So I think definitely, a thing that's going on that you want to check out. It's on Hunter Street, just up from where the Hunter Street sort of patio, pedestrian, whatever you call it, is returning this summer, which I think is cool. And that's just going to make, sort of extend to the next block, sort of the vibe of that whole area, which, again, awesome stuff for Peterborough.
Washboard Hank, your buddy's going to be there.
I love Washboard Hank.
Is he a friend of the show?
Probably. I don't think he knows it exists, but we will say, I think, one of my rules in life is if you're walking by somewhere and Washboard Hank is playing, you go watch Washboard Hank play. So I think that is a uniquely Kawarthas opportunity that we take for granted. I know Washboard Hank has a following across the country, and a lot of artists really enjoy Washboard Hank at festivals and things.
Is he like the Weird Al of Canada?
Not really comparable to Weird Al, but like Washboard Hank has this musical contraption that is takes a lot of skill to execute at the level, and it's one of those you just got to see it, and you're like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
And sings some great songs, has songs with place names in them, which is something that Stompin' Tom taught him
Nice.
way back when he was younger. If you write a song with a place name in it, that place is going to want you to come sing that song there. So
that's marketing 101.
Yeah, little trick of the trade. So I always enjoy a good washboard spot. So yeah, check out Jethro's Bar. Peterborough as well. We got Tragically Dipped, a new donut place that looks pretty awesome. Again, I haven't been there yet, but it's definitely on the list.
They've got an interesting story, don't they? Because were they a home baker as well, or where did they start? I
think so. I think it started as home baker, maybe a truck or something, and they had, I think, a GoFundMe to help sort of get them into a bricks and mortar retail spot. So that's a pretty good spot.
I don't think people sometimes realize how good donuts are until they've had real fresh made donuts from a baker. Like, I don't want to name any names of who I'm clearly thinking about right now.
Yeah.
The very Canadian coffee shop that we all go to.
Oh, yes. The Brazilian holding company that is close to all of our hearts.
Yes. You don't realize how bad those donuts are until you've been to like Kawarthas Bakery.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure Tragically Dipped or these other bakeries that make donuts. And it's a world.
Yeah, the Two Dishes Cook Shop in Peterborough, their donuts are outstanding when you can get them. So
yeah,
they're a pop-up now.
I'm very excited to try this Tragically Dipped because that's one of those things that I see fresh made real donuts and I'm like falling all over myself to get there. We were in Peterborough last weekend and it popped into my head because I'd seen them on social media because marketing does work. And I was like, I got to get in and like go check them out. We never got to it, which was a shame. I tried to get to Hardwinter Bakery every time I'm in Peterborough, but it was like 1:00 and I think they usually close at 2 on Saturday or Sunday. But you're getting scraps at that point. And because they make everything fresh that day and it sells out. There's a lineup out the door. Last time I was there, I got there at like 12:30, and the counter was full of stuff for the first time I'd ever been in there. It was full. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. You got so much stuff. They're like, we've been lined up out the door since we opened. It was so bad that we actually made more stuff to make sure there's stuff on the counter for when people came in.
That's awesome. Speaking of lineups out the door, Muddy's is back open. Muddy's Pit Barbecue in Keene. So that's on my list of places to get to.
I've never been down south for barbecue. Maybe like when I was a kid, I think we maybe had barbecue in Florida, but knowing my parents, it was probably like Montana's or something.
Yeah.
But nothing against Montana's. They're pretty decent. Anyways, you took me to Muddy's. Was it? No, not last summer. Was it 2 summers ago now? Or was it last summer?
Last summer for sure.
Yeah. That place will blow your mind with barbecue. Like, okay, whatever. My dad barbecues all the time. I know what barbecue tastes like. Or I've been to Montana's. I know what barbecue tastes like. And there's some other barbecue places around the Durham and Kawarthas and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure in Toronto. And like, there's some good ones. But Muddy's is something you will, I don't think, ever experience. It's just such an incredible taste. So well done. I love that you go in and it's just like this unassuming, I think you said old produce mart or barn or something.
It's like a garage door at the front.
Yeah, nothing
roadside
fancy.
Stand.
But nothing fancy, but then they've intentionally played that up with some really cool decor.
Yeah.
And the food is just like unreal.
Yeah, this for Mother's Day, they had Water Street corn chowder, which is from the guy who owns Muddy's is the original owner of Hot Belly Mama's or opened it. So some of the food there that sort of was created, he'll duplicate sometimes. So there was like a great, soup and fried catfish as well, which would be awesome. But definitely a spot to go. Shout out Washboard Hank's going to be playing there in a couple weeks, I think, on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm kind of low key planning a trip to go see that and swing in a visit with some family that are nearby.
And he's a huge Bills fan, the owner or the general manager or whatever. So they always do those chicken wings for Bills games.
Yeah.
Shout out Bills Mafia. Did you went and had the wings? Right?
I did. I was on my way somewhere else and I had a dinner reservation, so I literally stopped and bought 4 wings. So
because you buy stuff by the pound,
yeah,
right?
which I love. I'm like, where else can I pull over and buy 4 chicken wings because I want to try them, and people don't look at you that weird. Like it was just a normal thing. So
I've always been underwhelmed by smoked chicken, but you've told me this was outstanding.
Yeah, I love smoked chicken. Done right is one of my favorite things. So
nice.
Anyway, it was a good spot. Speaking of food places opening, we have Neski's, friend of the show, opening up their food truck in at the Curious Bear Market in just outside of Fenland Falls. So
where is that? Like
Highway 35. So just past where you would turn off to sort of loop to Fenland on your way to Rosedale in Coboconk, and they have a sort of roadside marketplace spot, and I guess their truck's going to be there. I haven't driven by. It's not too far from where they were set up last year. And for me, it's pretty close to my house. So it's probably by distance the closest place to buy food from where I live. And they moved a little bit closer. So
yeah, I feel bad because Brendan's always been like really nice to me and helped me out, but I've not been there yet. So I got to get up there this summer for what is apparently the best poutine in Kawartha Lakes.
Yeah, good poutine. Well, I haven't had it, but I'm not a big poutine orderer and eater, but it looks good. I've had some things that are pretty good there. So
why don't you like poutine?
I missed the whole trend. I don't know. I never ordered it. I've never ordered it as a meal. I've had it as a side a few times, but I don't know.
Maybe you had bad poutine, like shredded cheese and stuff.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, you can't have it with shredded cheese. You need curds.
You can at a sort of a Greek restaurant in the Belleville area. That's just how it goes down there. So, I think we'll get up there and give that a try. As we talk about food, another cool thing is, again, we're learning a lot of this stuff from marketing. So let's shout out marketing and Marketing Works. Tastely Box, which is a store in Apsley that is like blowing up on TikTok. And every time I try to order stuff, they're like sold out because they're way they refresh their store and limited supply, which I think is awesome. But they are opening a storefront in Peterborough. I don't know the exact address, but I know from marketing that they're anticipating to be open sort of late May or June. So that's pretty exciting to have them right in Peterborough.
What were they doing before? You said they were in Apsley. Like, were they doing it from their home? Or
they had a storefront in Apsley, and I think they started it as like a part-time thing, and then they're really good on TikTok. And I think they do just a really great job the way their tone is, what they have. They have different types of candy. You could buy it in boxes that are either themed, or I think they have some surprise boxes, which I always love, of different candies, and they get stuff from all around the world. Like
nice.
They do a really good job. I'm not like a big candy person, but I definitely would go there. I think it's an awesome gift. I tried really hard to buy a lot of Christmas gifts from there, but they were just always sold out on the website, which is, cool for a local business. So that's an exciting thing coming.
I'm not a huge candy guy either, but I will eat it quite often if available. I ate a lot of candy last night. I had a little bag of candy from Burns is thrown on my lap, and I just
little
sat
Santa sack.
eating the whole thing. I was like, I'll have one or two, and I just kept eating it. And I just turned to my wife and I'm like, "Do you want any of this?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay," because it's gone.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, we got a couple more new businesses to shout out in Fenland Falls. Shout out Fenland Falls. We have the White Cottage Cafe, which is a new venture by Brandy Watson and family, who I joke as being the emperor of Fenland Falls and building an empire. So, owner of the Barn and Bunkie. They also have the well drilling company, but they've opened White Cottage Cafe. They have great like lunch, coffee in the morning, sort of pastries and those types of treats. They have a soft serve ice cream window now with like dips and stuff on it. And anyway, just an awesome spot. Really big patio that's just opening up. And I think, Brandy always has something going on and planned. So I think it's going to be a pretty awesome hub of activity over the summer.
Yeah, talk about a way to build, like you said, I don't want to say empire, but a fantastic empire of the place you've got to go in Fenland Falls, wherever you're there, going in or leaving. Like, you shouldn't not go there. You have to go there whenever you're in Fenland, like whether it's like the cool retail stuff that they've got going on, the coffee, the snacks, the ice cream now. And like, what a great case study in building a business and finding more ideas that will help grow the business, but still complement each other.
Yeah.
They're not like crazy radical. They all play off of each other. And I think that's amazing what she's done there. All on brand, like beautiful focus on brand. I'm stuck with that across Barn and Bunkie and White Cottage and all the stuff that they're doing. And like, she just really gets it. Like, one of like the smartest business people I've ever talked to.
Oh yeah. I just think it's awesome. And, I look forward to seeing what's next, but for now, just a good spot. I stopped there on the weekend for some soft serve ice cream.
Oh, did you?
I literally got a baby cone because I didn't want to eat like a whole big one, but I love soft serve. And like the baby cone was like, a few really awesome bites of great ice cream. So
that's awesome.
It was pretty awesome for me.
Yeah.
I liked that. We have also the Porchlight Bakery in Fenland Falls, which I haven't had a chance to get there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But again, from marketing and social media, they look like they bake a lot of different things. Probably a good, rotating selection, which I love because that means you got to get there, see what's up that weekend, and maybe you might not get a chance to eat it again, so you got to give it a try. So.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They're also in an interesting location just outside of the downtown, which I think sort of extends the downtown area a little bit, gives you a place to go, gets you walking around in Fenland, which I think, for Fenland is really great. There's different zones in Fenland. So for a small town, you can go over to sort of Brandy's Empire on the one side of the bridge. You can go for a walk, see the falls, go up through, see Porchlight and the Pie Shack. Then you can head to see like great finds in the shops on the main street. There's also Water Street with slices and scoops and the walks, and then down there's a whole beach and splash pad, and then the trail. Like, there's kind of a lot of stuff that you can do in Fenland, fairly short period of time.
I love Fenland. It's my favorite beach and park to go to with the kids, like with that splash pad, the park, the waterfront, the trails, all the fun stuff around. It's a blast. And that Porchlight Bakery, it's in a good spot. Like, it's not on the main strip or whatever, but it's right around the corner from the Pie Shack, and it's right behind or along where that parking lot is. So you come park there, you go to that bakery, walk along. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've not been in there. I drove by it on the way out of that parking lot. I was like, oh, shoot, like, that's where that is. Like, that's a great spot. And it looked beautiful. And, like, my wife literally wanted to, like, she's like, pull over. And I didn't know if she was serious or not. But
yeah.
It looked so nice that you want to go in there. So,
yeah, which is awesome. So good stuff going on in Fenland. I think last summer it was a good, like, spot to go and place to be. So I think it's another thing this summer to hit up Fenland. All right. Anything else?
Last thing I want to say, I saw today on my way in that Rustically Sign had rebranded to be Makers Collective Co., which I think is super cool, an awesome evolution of that business from where they started. Two women on their own in different properties building custom signs and custom mats and custom pillows, I think it was. And they opened that storefront originally above the Pie-Eyed Monk, so they'd have some space for workshops, because so people could do that custom type of builds and stuff. And then they outgrew that space. They've moved around a couple different locations and kind of settled in a home now right down on Kent Street, right in the thick of that retail area. And it looks like the business, based on the name, is a bit more focused on the makers now, which I still think they're probably the original like maker hub in the Kawartha Lakes, because you're seeing so many of them now, and I think they were still originals. And I think it's cool that they've now, I'm sure they still have all that other custom stuff, but like the big focus is on this makers market, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lots of good stuff going on in the Kawarthas. Lots of small businesses, getting ramped up and going, which is awesome to see. We're going to dedicate an episode a month for the next little while to these. So if you know something that's going on, the word on the street stuff or something you think, hey, you guys got to check this out or shout this out, please send that into us. We'd also love to work with you. So check us out at kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca. We can help you start, grow, or recharge your business. Please join us for a Monday morning coffee here at Thrive. We'd love to, chat and make you a coffee and, see what's going on. So please, check us out or send an email to set it up at kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca.